Hello everyone, this is Kerry. I will be talking about my fifth project in Python, which is the upgraded weather app. We're gonna use the same imports as the last weather map, but just with a little bit of new calls, which is pillow and TTK bootstrap constants. That's the only differences that we're gonna use, but basically it's the same. All the definitions, let's go through them real quick. So as before, we get the weather data and we update the display. It's basically the same, but this time we basically transform the units to imperial, which is Fahrenheit, directly from the open weather map. They actually had an option when I was reading the documents. They actually had an option to turn it directly from the API call, which is I did it like that, and we update the display. So that basically help us have like one less definition because we can just get it directly from the API call. On the fetch weather data, we also have the weekly weather data, which is like a 5 days worth of data from here. We actually turn it into imperial, which is Fahrenheit, and it's basically almost the same concept as this one here, but the only difference is the base URL. This one has forecast, this one has weather. So this only gives like the current weather. This gives like 5 days worth of weather. That's basically the only difference. So this is for the weekly display, which is 5 days. We make sure that the response code is 200, which means that the data is valid. They usually didn't put like a city or country that doesn't exist at all, which means that it works. So this is day 1, day 2, day 3, 4, and 5. We get the list, which gets the date, daytime. This is like the first number of the list, which is day 1 basically. 8, 16, 24, and 32. Basically what list does, for example here, let me make a comment, is that 0 is basically, let's say today's October 16, right? It has like 3 hours intervals, so it starts from 0, the hours, then it turns into 3, 6, 9, 12, and so on. But it's basically like in the 24-hour cycle. So if you put list 3, it's gonna tell you, instead of like 0, 0, 0, it's gonna tell you 300, but it's not actually the hour in advance. But yeah, to get like to the next day, you're gonna have to put 8. So that's like the start time, 000, because it's like on 3-hour interval basically. So we split, so it takes like instead of the hours, we only take the date, because I only want the date, not the other hours. And that's basically what it does for the weekly thing. The only things that we change is the data from the list, which is 24, 16, 32. It's the only differences. So if the code is not 200, it clears the screen. Here it displays the icon from the weather data, which is in pillow, and the bytes. So we get a response URL. If the response code is 200, it's gonna get this response content. gonna open the image, take a photo image, make that the image, and if not, it's gonna forget it. Same thing with the update display. Make sure is the response is 200. If it is, it's gonna tell it to configure the data, and it's gonna delete the error label if it appears on the screen because the user put like a city that doesn't exist. It's gonna clear that. If the response is not 200, it's gonna delete all the labels and put the API code, API status code, which is just response code, and it says please enter a valid city. I didn't put else because there were others response codes, so I just put 200 to make sure that just it may be a user error. Here we just turn visibility and pressure. Here I use an F string to turn pressure in basically at 2 decimals. This is the Easter egg, which we just fetch the clicks from the user. We got a gauge, which is here, and we increment it by 10, and it makes the steps go by 10. So basically each click is just gonna go to the gauge. I think it's just gonna take a step every time we fetch a click. It goes through all these ifs, and you will see later on how the Easter egg works. We basically got our AP key retrieval, which is the same as before. The theme is superhero, which is a little bit different from Darkly. We got our input frame, same as before. We got our first section, so we're basically divided into sections. So the first section is the today label, which is just gonna say today. The description from the weather, the icon, it's gonna pack that on the top. It's gonna show the error label too. If the user puts like a wrong input, it's gonna show it there. And that's the first frame. So the second frame, we're gonna show the temperature label. Yeah, we're gonna show the temperature label, the feels like label, the humidity, visibility, wind speed, pressure, temperature, the minimum temperature, and the max temperature. It's gonna pack that. That's the second frame. Here I put the weekly section, which is basically like the other ones. Just create them, pack them. I will tell you what I put each day on its own frame a little bit later on. As you can see, I didn't put visibility or pressure here because I didn't thought it was worth putting. And yeah, the fourth section is just the Easter egg. It's supposed to be third, but yeah, it's just call it fourth. So I'm gonna show you how this works. Let's see this now. If we run this, you can see this little Easter egg right here. So let's say you put a city like New York. It's gonna disappear. It's gonna show you today's. It has scattered clouds. The temperature is 55.69 Fahrenheit. Feels like 54. Humidity 72%. Visibility 6 miles. The wind speed is 8 miles per hour. pressure is 29, and the minimum temperature of today and the max temperature of today. And here is why I use on all the frames on the days. So day 1, day 2, day 3, and 4 and 5, they're all on different frames. Is because when you use pack, it's mostly everything from top to bottom. So you could have like really mess up the GUI. So that's why I put it on different frames, so I could just have it from left to right. So let's say I put a city that doesn't exist. I'm gonna close everything. It's gonna tell you API request failed, status code 404. Please enter a valid city or country. Let's put Panama. It's gonna go back again. It's gonna tell you all the information you want to know. Put Inwood US, temperature, everything. So as you saw before, because I showed you early on, this is the Easter egg. If you actually increase the size of the screen, this is the Easter egg. I will be quiet now and I will show you what happens. Yep. So that was my 5th project of Python using TTK Kinter. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I hope I see you guys soon.